Let me thank the chairman and ranking member for a very important hearing. Let me ask just a straightforward question that deals with fixing the immigration laws and allowing individuals to come from out of the shadows and distinguishing individuals who are here opposed to criminals and others who happen to be on status. Mr. Hodgkins, would you support comprehensive immigration reform? Yes or no?
Congressman, I've been working on that for 20 years, going back to the days of Henry Hyde and Barney Frank. I've worked on the first bill that made it through the House.
Thank you. I was probably around at that time, sir. Good to see you. Ms. Vaughn, would you support comprehensive immigration reform?
No, I think it makes much more sense.
Thank you. Let me go on to Mr. Arthur.
I would probably recommend enforcement of the immigration laws.
Would you support comprehensive immigration reform? It takes into account enforcement. If you look at the concept of the Gang of Eight, it takes into enforcement. Would you support it?
I would have to look at the particulars of any legislation.
Ms. Fayol, let me.
Piatti, yes.
Yeah, yes.
Yes, Congresswoman, I would support it.
Thank you so very much. Let me quickly move forward on my questioning. All of us were appalled at the killing of Kate Steinle and others who have suffered. But if we were to correlate that tragedy to high crime work with non-status people, as Republicans have tried to do, San Francisco then would have a high murder rate. And as of 2015, there was no rise in San Francisco's murder rate in the 26 years it has had, in quotes, a sanctuary city. In fact, the city's murder rate has fallen to its lowest level in decades, which I think is a very important point. The other point is that I would ask a yes or no question. Do you think in the context of unstatus that we're trying to deport the bad hombres that President Trump said? Is that, Sheriff, what your focus would be, the bad hombres? Yes or no?
That's exactly what the priority is.
Thank you. Ms. Vaughn?
According to the Department of
Yes or
Homeland
no?
Security, there are about 2 million criminal
All right,
aliens
Ms.
in the
Arthur?
country, and we should make them the top of the priority for deportation. Of course, you know, others are appropriate to deport as well.
Mr. Arthur, I'm so sorry.
In my court, Ms. Jackson-Lee, I would see many individuals for a long period of time. I would see individuals who had committed serious domestic violence
So you would think that the bad elements should be the top priority, the bad hombres?
Unfortunately, I saw those people disappear from my court, and I don't know why.
But
So yes, I think that we should definitely remove individuals who commit serial drunk driving offenses like the chairman spoke about.
All right.
Horrible
Thank you so very
domestic
much.
violence.
Piatti,
Sure.
your view of that?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Congresswoman. I
And
certainly.
I'm only rushing because I want to ask you a lengthier question. So it's just yes or no. Do you think it should be focused on the bad hombres that should be deported?
I think we should be focusing on those with serious criminal violations. Yes.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
I'd like to offer into the record this comment. Trump supporter thought president would only deport bad hombres. Instead, her husband is being deported. Months later, after she voted, Roberto Burstein, her husband, a successful businessman, respected member of his Indiana town and father of 3 American-born children, languishes in a detention facility with hardened criminals as he awaits his deportation back to Mexico, the country he left in 1998 when he entered the United States illegally. I ask unanimous consent for that to be put into the record.
Without objection.
Thank you. I also ask unanimous consent to be put into the record the statement of the Travis County Sheriff's Office policy on cooperation with the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement to negate any suggestion that the so-called sanctuary cities label is that cities are not cooperating with ICE. I ask unanimous consent to put that into the record.
Without objection.
And I put into the record this statement from the constitutional lawyers that this is unconstitutional. The order by Sessions and the President of the United States to penalize cities and deny them their money. I hope one of them will sue. I ask unanimous consent.
Reserving.
I ask Ms. Piatti the question, please.
Well, I ask unanimous consent the gentlewoman from Texas be given an additional minute.
I thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Piatti, I am very familiar with the center. I think you know Marty or down in Texas, and we've been very close working on it. I think it is very important to reemphasize how lives can be saved when we give the opportunity for individuals who are unstatus to feel free to report threats that not only can jeopardize the lives of the significant other, the spouse, the girlfriend, but the children in that home or in that context. So would you explain the impact that you've seen, that the women that you've helped, of the children that have been involved, and how important it is for there to be freedom
The
for that?
gentlewoman's time has expired. Ms. Piatti, you may answer the question.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. Congresswoman, hello from our Texas office at Tahrir Justice Center, where you know we work hand in hand with Houston police to help them to identify and investigate trafficking in the area. Our work there, I think, has been pioneering in attempting to bring trafficking as a crime under some kind of control. I can talk about, right now you've asked me to share with you something about a client. We do have a client who spoke at a briefing just a few weeks ago here in the House, who shared that as a woman who met her husband, U.S. citizen, military husband, overseas, he brought her here to the United States, and they had a child together. Their son was autistic, and the son was witnessing physical and emotional abuse in their home and was struggling significantly. She was afraid to contact law enforcement because her husband continued to say to her, I'm a citizen and you don't have status, and if you call the police, you'll be deported, and then our child will be with me, and you're out of luck. And so very desperately and very nervously, she contacted us for help and worked to build up her courage, and eventually was able to cooperate with law enforcement, and her husband was removed from the home, allowing the child then to really flourish, and his autism has now significantly improved. So we can see not just sort of emotional impact immediately, but certainly even cognitive and behavioral changes when abusers are removed from the home and women are able to care for their children in safety.
I thank the chairman.
you.
I thank the witness.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman? Mr. Chairman,
Gentlewoman from California.
I'd like to ask unanimous consent to put in the record